Hello, artist. It is Monday, June 1st. How did it get to be June already? It is our 26th day of drawing together. I'm hearing from more and more of you about what you're creating and that you're watching the series. And some of you are drawing and some of you aren't drawing, but hopefully soon I hope everyone is drawing, or that you might tell a friend about our time together here and that they might start drawing too. I still have about 20 sketchbooks left, so please let others know. Or if you are tuning in and you don't have a sketchbook yet, let me know. I'm happy to get that to you. And also, I can throw in some colored pencils too. Sometimes people say, well, what's the cost? There's no cost. This is just something we want to do from Life Enrichment and our art therapy program to give you something to do while we're all stuck inside. So get drawing and let's stay connected through our art. That's the amazing thing about art. It has the power to connect us. Now, today, I have forgotten my list of prompts, but I haven't forgotten what we're doing today. So I apologize. I don't know the number of this particular drawing, but it is make a drawing using only triangles. So that's what we're going to do. So I thought about a lot of different ways that I could cut out big triangles, that I could find things that were triangles, that I could cut out triangles and put them all over paper. I also forgot my sketchbook at home today, so I am working on a white piece of paper. I could do this in so many ways. I saw one resident here do this prompt earlier in the month, and they used triangles repeatedly down a sheet and made a tree. That's a great use of triangles. So today, what I do know is that I really wanted to use crayons. So we've got this great box of all of these random crayons in the Tabor Art Studio. And by the way, I've said it before, but if you have never been to the Tabor Art Studio, when we can get back together and you can come in and make art, come make art in the Tabor Art Studio. You don't have to be from Tabor to come enjoy this studio. Come in and see it. It's such a sweet little studio. It's inviting and warm and just a really cool place to make art. And I think it's my favorite place on campus. So please come and check it out and make some art with me. I'm going to be really excited to see what happens after our isolation here from the pandemic and all of this time being shut in. And then also those of you discovering the artist within you who might come out to our studios and start making art in community. So I hope it's you, because I want to see you once this is over. So today, what I do know is I'm working with crayons, and I want to just show how fun and easy crayons can be. So I am just going to, when we think of crayons, we might think of kindergarten. We might think of younger days. We might think crayons are not for us, but I think that crayons offer some great possibilities. So I am just making random triangles, and then I'm probably going to regret it, but I am going to go back in with a Sharpie because I just love the use of Sharpie with color. So I'm going to go back in when I'm finished later on, and I'm going to use a black Sharpie to add some detail. I think I get that really from that love for those black bold lines from the artist Picasso and from Joan Miro. I love Miro so much, and if I can get to my art therapy practice in Monroe in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to bring an image home that one of my students, I used to teach at an alternative charter school in Monroe, straight out of grad school. I was trying to find an art therapy job, and there weren't many art therapy jobs here in southern Wisconsin. The one I knew about was here at Oakwood, and Denny Geller had it. And I knew Denny, and I thought, Denny isn't going anywhere. She's going to be in that position forever. So forget about that. And so here I am 20 years later, and here I am as an art therapist here. But at the time, there weren't art therapy positions out there necessarily in the world. And Denny was a real pioneer here and created this position with the help of the organization and demanded that art therapy be a part of Oakwood because it was so necessary to thrive, taking care of our mental health, taking care of our well-being, taking care of our spiritual life, all of those things that are incorporated into art therapy are so important. And Denny recognized that and said, this place needs it. So thank you, Denny Geller, for making that happen for all of us. But while Denny Geller was making that happen for all of us here at Oakwood, I was working at the Monroe Alternative Charter School. I always said I was masquerading as a teacher because I was really an art therapist, but I landed in the perfect place. Kids who were high schoolers and middle schoolers who were falling through the cracks, who didn't care about coming to school, landed in my classroom, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I'll never forget those kids who are now, some of them are 36 years old. What on earth happened to them? And others are younger, and it's just been so cool to see where they've taken their lives and that they made it, that they overcame those difficulties in their life. So why am I saying any of that? I have no idea. I have lost my train of thought. The Joan Muro. Now I got it. Okay. Thinking, why would I tell you all of that? And you're probably thinking, why did she tell us all of this stuff too? Well, Joan Muro. So one of my students, her name was Jenny. Her name is Jenny. We were doing art history because I had the freedom to do so many things at the charter school, including art therapy classes. So it was so cool. All of the things I love, Shakespeare, acting, history, art history, performance art, all of those things I was able to incorporate into my curriculum. They first had me teaching math and science, and I am not a math and science person. Love it. I love the idea of math and science, but I should not ever be teaching it. So I had to teach that first quarter, and then the rest of the years were wide open to my imagination and then what the kids really wanted. And I found that they loved all of those things that I was bringing to them. So Jenny was studying Joan Muro, and she made this fantastic Joan Muro image and then later gave it to me, and it's so beautiful. So I'll bring that in sometime. So when I talk about black lines, black markers, I think it really comes from Joan Muro, where his use of line is really primitive, his use of color is really spare, but it, to me, is so striking and reminds me of that raw art that we can get to when we are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And one day I'll show you my daughter's art. Both of my daughters make some really cool art, and I have a very hard time letting it go. So I think I could probably stretch it out from my home, about 12 miles from here, to Oakwood, and still have more art left over. That's how much art they make. So if you think you're making a lot of art, and I think I'm making a lot of art, like what am I going to make today? I've never seen as much art as my 2 daughters can make. So someday I'll show you their primitive work. So Joan Muro made very, very primitive art in my opinion, and I love it. So I'm going to go back into my triangle art here with black. I love crayon because it just gives you lots of different texture. Oh, one thing that we used to do in elementary school, and you may have done along the way too, is color a whole sheet of paper, and then we'd color over it in black and then scratch it away, be able to etch into it. I learned a better process when I was in college, and that was to color a whole sheet of paper and then take black acrylic paint, like craft paint, black acrylic craft paint, and mix it with clear ivory soap. Mix it in, paint over it, and it gives this really nice waxy surface that you can scratch into, and the work is so cool when you do that. And you can scratch your image into that ivory soap mixture. It's really cool. So give that a try sometime. I'm going to try some experimental art coming up that you might not have the supplies for on hand, but I thought you might be interested just seeing how we can really think out of the box about what is art making and using the supplies on hand at home to do it. So I'll try for that as well. So this is my triangle art. I'm going to keep going with it, see what I can create. Seems like every time I pick up a crayon and I put it back down, I can't find it. I guess when you have 500 crayons in front of you, that will happen. I know a lot of you too might not have the supplies you'd really like to have on hand. When you can get back to the studios here, whether it's in the Oaks or here in Tabor, you can come use all the supplies because we have so many and they're just waiting. All these supplies are just waiting for someone to come make something phenomenal. Okay, so that's the start of my triangle art. I wonder what you're making. So again, give me a call, 230-4324, with anything you'd like to talk about or anything you need. And also, send me an image if you can, Jennifer.Bethel, that's Jennifer .Bethel at oakwoodvillage.net. I would love to see some images. Or stop down at the front desk if you can, if you're out and can do that. I'm there again on, let's see, I think I'm there on Saturday. I think I'm there Saturday noon to 8. No, I'm not. I'm not there on Saturday at all. I honestly don't know when I'm there again, but I'll figure it out and I'll let you know tomorrow. So if you just happen to be out and I happen to be there, please stop by and say hello. And I apologize if I don't recognize you with your mask on. We should all have superhero capes with as much as we're wearing masks and how strong you all are. Okay, there's my triangle art. Get working on yours or whatever you'd like to work on today, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, have a great day.